and there are a bunch of bike riders that are helping us out. And we were telling everybody, a bike rider found her because they heard her talking on the phone. But she said, I wish I had a whistle. Because, you know, it was really tough to find her. So that's something that's going to go in my whatever. And the last thing I want to say today is that know in an emergency, if a rider falls or a horse falls, that the adrenaline in the person spikes. And when the adrenaline is high, you're not rational. So, or that rider you're riding with isn't very rational. So plan for that. It's not necessary for you to get right back on. Take time to make sure the person is okay and is thinking all right. They don't have to have a concussion. They don't have to have a broken ankle. They've been frightened, and the adrenaline spikes, and they're not making rational decisions. That's one of the reasons that in eventing, they chose about, I don't know, 15 years ago to not allow the cross-country riders to get back on and finish. It wasn't just necessary. I mean, we were talking on the Board of Governors, I was on the Board of Governors, about head injuries. You know, a lot of people can get up with a concussion and go ahead and go. But they also mentioned the adrenaline. They're not making rational decisions. So that's one of the reasons that they did that. That's what I have for you tonight. And if there are any questions, I'd be glad to take them. Yes?
You mentioned the shoeing.
Yes.
What is your opinion, experience with the new boots, like say the Cavallo boots that have come out for those people that prefer to leave their horses in shod, and then when they're going into rougher terrain, they put the boots on? What has been your experience with that?
You know, I don't have a lot of direct experience with people that use those boots in our part of the country. You want to be careful about rubbing, obviously. I'm not interested in fooling with it, and that's why I don't do it. It's really nice to have a horse with really good feet, but I can't answer that well for you. But you as a rider, if you've chosen to go barefoot with your horse, then make sure that those boots are fitting properly and that there's no rubbing. And then when you take them off, I would go for a short ride with them first, take them off and really inspect everything. And when you inspect, be sure to palpate around the cornet band because you want to be sure that there's not a pressure point that's causing. And if they come up a little off with those boots, then you know they're not fitting properly. Well, yes?
How about those, I can't think of the name now, but the synthetic, there's a synthetic shoe.
Oh, well, you know, those are really farrier questions, but every horse's feet are so different. And when you start dealing with some problems, or if you want to just try them, I think it's fine to try the new products, but then you want to be very watchful. Know how your horse moves to begin with, and then know how they're moving when you've decided to shoe. I had a team pinning horse that I had to shoe with aluminum in front, and it really wasn't a good trail shoe. I had to replace the shoes every time, and they really got beat up. They're really more of a show shoe. But he didn't trip when I had him, and this is when he was 18. So he didn't trip when he was 7. But he was starting to get some arthritis and stuff, and the shoe happened to work really well. But it had its, you know, I wish it would have been better on the trail. So give it a try. I know there's a lot of research out there now. I would encourage any product that you decide to try, that they've got the research behind it. They paid for the research. There have been a lot of saddle pads that came out without that, and they really soared up horses, and they came from good companies. But those companies have learned now, and they're doing the heat and friction studies so that you can really see that what you're getting. But then remember, your horse's backs are all different. Yes?
I have a couple of problems. I have a Rocky Mountain
Mm-hmm.
that has a belly that hangs down.
Mm.
And I've having a really hard time getting the girth.
Ah.
Not rubbing. Either
Oh.
on her front legs or under here, because she's got a lot of.
I'm sorry I didn't talk about girths, because girths are almost as individual as these blankets. This company makes a girth that's wonderful. I don't happen to use it because my horse goes real well in a string girth, and it's just kind of my preference. But I have tried this sheepskin one, and I think the sheepskin really is great. And I like the way that, or you might be able to find one, you know, at Murdoch's that's sheepskin, or the synthetics do wick pretty well. Be sure your horse is not allergic to it. So that would be, you know, a try. You can call me. I've got a demo. Those are in different links. Well, this one's constructed a little differently, so it you know, it might work for you. But you know, when you have certain situations that you know you have a problem with, it can be a discovery process. Anything else? Okay. Yes?
So you mentioned something about the withers, having good withers. My horse doesn't really have good withers. I'm having troubles with saddles fitting correctly. Is there pads that you would recommend to prevent the hot spots that are created?
Well, try my demo, you know, and see if that helps. I'd actually have to see the horse. There's a really good article, there's a really good website there you can look at. I don't sell any of those pads, but it kind of talks to different things. You can also pad the withers, but you have to be careful that the wither pad stays put and that it doesn't cause another problem. So you'll find that, does your saddle fit pretty well without anything on?
Yeah.
Does it look like it does?
A little bit. I'll have to analyze what it looks like to go back after this.
Yeah. This is the other pad I'd recommend, and just because you can do things real specifically with the shims.
What's the name of that one?
This one is a Mattis pad, World Equestrian Brands.
And what about the other one?
This one's Saddle Right, and it's spelled, it's on there. I can get these pads for you again, and I can get them for, I talk to the head of the companies, and the other thing I do, if I sell you the pad, if it doesn't work, I take it back. So it's so easy for people to click the internet now and be real hopeful that what's going to come out is going to be okay. I think we're really, really lucky to have the Saddle Exchange. You can go down there and try things and see what might work. I think I didn't address the human, but I think your saddle needs to be really comfortable for you. Mine I can ride in for 8 or 10 hours. We've done it, haven't we? And you know, I have a hard time walking because my knees don't work very well, but my seat is fine. What kind of saddle? It was made by Ken Jones, and it's a saddle with a cable. The cable rigging, I like that because it fits almost all horses, and because it takes 10 pounds off my saddle. Yes?
What is cable rig?
Okay, the saddle, instead of having a place for your girth, it has a cable that comes like this. And you put your girth on that, and the beautiful part, and they rope with them. The old time saddle makers don't, you know, it's something new, but a lot of people that have started riding these in the last 10 years, as I said, it takes 10 pounds off, and also what I found is that the girth places where it needs to be. The saddle fitter didn't decide where your horse's belly was. So,
But you can move it?
Yeah.
well, you can't move the cable, you don't have to because the cable moves.
Oh, I see.
It moves the cinch. Yeah, I mean, it just naturally goes where the horse needs it to be. So I've had real good luck with the cable rigging. And Linda's got one, and
And this is on a Western saddle
It's a what do you call that tree? It's a very common tree, wade tree.
Mine is just regular western.
It's a western tree, but I like a wade tree for me because of the way it sits me. I can't have a saddle that puts me back. I want my saddle to be like my dressage saddle used to be, and a wade, the right position. Then I'm really comfortable, and the wade tree is one that fits me really well too. And the wade trees, because of the way they make them. Are there any saddle makers here? The wade tree, because they make the way the tree comes along the side of the back, they fit probably 80% of the horses. They fit them really well, you know, if you get the right size. But boy, saddles, fitting you, fitting them. But you know, you get a good horse and you've got a lot of choices. But if you're uncomfortable on the trail, then maybe a better look at your saddle.
Pat, from the horse's perspective, what's been your experience with the Flex Street?
I don't like them very well, but that's just me. And the thing is that the first Orthoflex Flex tree